Ice Cube, because Ice Cube has come out and given everybody some brutal truth. Sorry, Angel Reese, the $5 million offer was only for Caitlin Clark.
No, the thing with Caitlin Clark, it was just to unlock millions of dollars for the league because of her stardom, what our sponsors was telling us.
Right.
They didn't tell us the same thing about Angel Reese. So I think we will accommodate her in any way, shape, or form, allowing her to play in the WNBA.
It was the kind of headline that made people stop scrolling. Not because it was shocking, but because it felt impossible. A $5 million offer, not for a former NBA star, not for a Hall of Famer, but for a college senior who hadn't played a single minute of professional basketball. That's how this story begins, with Ice Cube, co-founder of the Big 3 League, sending a seismic wave through the sports world. He wasn't just making a statement, he was rewriting the rules. And the name on that offer? Caitlin Clark.
I remember you famously made an offer to Caitlin Clark, but what about Angel Reese? Would you think she could ball out? You know, she's pretty solid, you know?
Yeah, she's a great player. No, the thing with Caitlin Clark, it was just to unlock millions of dollars for the league because of her stardom, what our sponsors was telling us.
Right.
They didn't tell us the same thing about Angel Reese. So.
March 2024. The moment felt almost mythical. A generational talent lighting up college arenas, rewriting the record books with logo threes and effortless playmaking. But behind the scenes, something much bigger was moving. Ice Cube and his partners, backed by serious sponsorship dollars, made an unprecedented pitch. 1 season, 10 weeks, $5 million. And here's the kicker. Clark wouldn't even have to choose between leagues. She could play in the WNBA and the Big 3 simultaneously. The math was staggering. Most WNBA rookies barely crack 6 figures. Caitlin was offered 50 times that, and when the offer leaked, Cube confirmed it on X, saying the quiet part out loud. "We made a historic offer to Caitlin Clark. Why wouldn't we? She's a generational athlete who could bring tremendous success to the Big 3.
I know that you recently made a pitch to Caitlin Clark. Does your offer to Caitlin still stand? And do you have a message for her if she's on the fence?
Yes, it does still stand. If she's on the fence, we could talk about anything that's concerning her. I think we will accommodate her in any way, shape, or form, allowing her to play in the WNBA. A guy from Barstools offered her $10 million to play in his rec league, and she can go do that too. So we're not gonna, stop her from pursuing her other goals.
It wasn't a PR stunt. It was a calculated move, one designed to bring in sponsors, boost ratings, and transform the visibility of a men's league struggling to capture mainstream attention.
Ice Cube, because Ice Cube has come out and given everybody some brutal truth. Sorry, Angel Reese, the $5 million offer was only for Caitlin Clark.
For a moment, the entire basketball world held its breath. Would she say yes? Could she shift the power dynamics of women's sports in one move? She didn't. Caitlin joined the Indiana Fever, and the offer was politely declined. But here's where things started to unravel. Not for Caitlin, but for someone else. Because when fans asked if the same $5 million offer would be extended to another rising star, Angel Reese, Ice Cube's answer was quick and painfully clear. They didn't tell us the same thing about Angel Reese. And just like that, the message was loud and unmistakable. This was never about fairness. It was about business. If you've been paying attention to women's basketball over the past 2 years, you've seen her on billboards, on magazine covers, at red carpet events, and brand shoots. Angel Reese, the self-proclaimed Bayou Barbie, didn't just enter the WNBA. She entered culture. And let's not get it twisted. The resume is real. She was the NCAA tournament's most outstanding player, a national champion, Rookie of the Month in her first WNBA season, a double-double machine with the Chicago Sky. She's signed with Reebok for a signature shoe deal, appeared on the cover of NBA 2K26, and landed more than 20 brand endorsements, from Amazon to McDonald's.
Ice Cube just exposed the harsh truth about Angel Reese. Ice Cube didn't hold back. Caitlin Clark got a massive $5 million offer from the Big 3 League. Angel Reese, not even considered. Why? Because she doesn't bring in the money. Ice Cube straight up admitted it. Clark is a ratings magnet. She breaks records, sells out arenas, and pulls in millions of viewers. Reese, social media buzz doesn't translate to packed stadiums. And here's the real shocker. Clark's own agents blocked the deal. Ice Cube revealed the NBA pressured them, fearing Clark's stardom would shake up the system. The WNBA refuses to fully embrace its biggest star, while Ice Cube saw her worth instantly. Clark isn't just a player, she's a movement. The question is, how long will the WNBA keep holding her back?
On paper, Angel Reese is a star. But here's the hard truth. In pro sports, the paper isn't just your accolades. It's your revenue. Because when Ice Cube and his sponsors talked business, they didn't bring up her stats, her hustle, or even her visibility. They talked about numbers, their numbers. And that's where things got uncomfortable. Despite all the buzz, despite the press, despite the influence, Angel's presence hasn't translated into the kind of financial gravity that moves leagues. Let's break it down. The Chicago Sky, Reese's WNBA team, averages about 10,000 fans per game. It's respectable, solid. But compare that to Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever, where attendance skyrocketed from under 5,000 to over 17,000 in a single season. That's more than triple the draw. Ticket prices for games featuring Reese, modest bump. Ticket prices for Clark, $1,440 average for her debut, with resale seats hitting $5,000. It's not about who works harder. It's about who makes people care enough to pay. And that's where the illusion comes in. Because while Angel Reese looks like a star, the kind with media buzz and branding muscle, the question now being asked in front offices, in sponsorship meetings, and in airport interviews with Ice Cube is this: is Angel building a fan base or just building buzz? For athletes like Angel, that's the most dangerous question of all, because buzz fades, fan loyalty doesn't. Let's talk about belief, not in the fairy tale underdog kind of way, but in cold, calculated business terms. Because belief in the sports business world means something very specific. Can you guarantee a return? Can you move money? And in 2024, there was one name that made sponsors and execs answer yes before you could finish the question: Caitlin Clark.
Why Caitlin Clark has never spent her WNBA salary. Caitlin Clark earns a salary of $76,000 a year playing in the WNBA, but she hasn't touched a single penny of it for herself. While others, like Angel Reese, are often seen in designer jewelry, Clark lives simply, no luxury car, no fancy lifestyle. She shares a modest apartment with her boyfriend, Connor McCaffrey, and spends nearly all her time training. But the reason behind her frugal lifestyle will truly surprise you. It's not about a lack of money. Clark made $3.1 million in NIL deals during college and signed a massive 8-year, $28 million contract with Nike. Her net worth is already around $5 million at just 23. Instead of splurging, she chooses to give back. She promotes local food banks for free, regularly attends fundraising events, and even launched her charitable foundation. Caitlin Clark isn't just a basketball star. She's a role model with a heart of gold.
See, Clark didn't just dominate the college game. She rewrote it. Her deep threes, her court vision, her poise under pressure, they were undeniable. But what separated her from every other phenom wasn't on the court. It was in the stands. She filled arenas everywhere. Not just in Iowa, not just at home, everywhere. During her final college season, her team's games consistently drew over 1 million viewers. One Big 10 game pulled in 1.6 million, a number unheard of in women's college hoops. And the moment she declared for the draft, the Indiana Fever became the most watched, most talked about team in the WNBA.
Well, Caitlin Clark has had a remarkable impact on attendance. 35 consecutive sellouts at Carver Hawkeye. The senior average attendance over 14,900.
Overnight, home attendance tripled. Season ticket sales exploded. A single game featuring Clark went from a few $1,000s in ticket revenue to hundreds of thousands. She didn't need hype. She had impact. And business loves impact. Let's take it a step further. Even when Clark wasn't on the court, she was still moving markets. At the 2025 WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis, she was set to be the headline until she got hurt. Within hours, resale ticket prices plummeted nearly 50%. That wasn't just fan disappointment. That was real money leaving the table. TV viewership dropped by 36%. Sponsors felt it in real time. So when Ice Cube offered $5 million to Caitlin Clark, it wasn't a gamble. It was simple math. A 10-week deal where Clark's name alone could drive attendance, sponsorship revenue, rating spikes, and brand legitimacy. One Reddit user put it best. $5 million is 20 teams the highest WNBA salary, but it's probably underpaying for what she brings. And that's the quiet part everyone in the industry knows. Caitlin Clark doesn't just play basketball, she's a movement. That's why the offer was real. That's why it was only for her. Because in today's game, star power isn't about the spotlight. It's about whether you can turn it on for everyone else too. This is the part where emotion steps out and the scoreboard shifts to dollars, eyeballs, and seats. Because in sports, especially professional sports, hype is not the same as revenue. And when it comes to the Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark debate, no stat line, no press tour, no podcast can mask what the numbers make crystal clear. And get this, the Fever helped the WNBA break its all-time single-season attendance record. More than 643,000 fans across just 40 games. Now let's talk TV. Games featuring Caitlin Clark consistently rank among the most watched. And when she missed the All-Star game, viewership dropped 36%. Ticket resale prices cut in half, down 48% almost instantly. That's not hype, that's real-time market movement. And in pro sports, that's what changes the game. So when Ice Cube said his $5 million offer was based on what sponsors told him, this is what he meant. They didn't tell us the same thing about Angel Reese, because for sponsors, it's not about who's trending. It's about who's turning attention into action. Who gets fans to spend, to show up, to tune in. Who drives real ROI. It's a tough pill to swallow for Reese's supporters. She has the accolades. She has the media machine behind her. She has the brands. But in the brutal math of pro sports, none of that matters without conversion. Let's not forget, Caitlin Clark turned down the Big 3 deal, and it still made headlines for months. Reese, on the other hand, didn't just get passed over. She got publicly disqualified from the conversation. And this moment made one thing clear. There's a difference between being a name and being the name that moves markets. In a world where every crossover, every endorsement, and every highlight reel is just a scroll away, it's easy to forget that basketball at the pro level isn't just a game. It's a marketplace of attention, of influence, of value. And that's exactly why this moment, the $5 million Big 3 deal that wasn't, hit harder than most people expected, because it didn't just reveal a contract that never existed, it revealed a divide. On one side, you have Angel Reese, a breakout rookie with hustle, charisma, media presence, and marketing deals stacked to the ceiling. She's made herself visible, outspoken, and styled for the spotlight. From Reebok sneakers to NBA 2K covers to McDonald's commercials, she's got the kind of brand exposure most rookies can only dream of. On the other side, you have Caitlin Clark. Less flash, more focus. She's not spending her off days in photo shoots or on podcasts. She's playing, breaking records, filling arenas, and changing financial outcomes for her team, her league, and now, even leagues she doesn't play in. That's what this moment was really about. It wasn't about fairness. It wasn't even about basketball. It was about proof of concept. Caitlin Clark's value wasn't projected. It was measured. Angel Reese's value, still mostly tied to image, not investment returns. And for athletes watching this unfold, it's a wake-up call. Because being popular isn't enough. You need to build impact. You need to build loyalty. You need to build a base that shows up whether you win or lose. What happened on July 27th when Ice Cube said that fateful line was more than a snub? We can't make that same offer. It wouldn't have the same impact. It was a reminder that visibility doesn't equal viability. That not every viral moment leads to long-term momentum. That when the lights fade and the articles stop trending, the thing that matters most is who's still showing up for you. So where does this leave Angel Reese? Still rising, still relevant, still with a future full of opportunity, but with a lesson that every modern athlete should hear loud and clear. In the business of sports, highlights get you noticed, but fans get you paid. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit that like button, share it with a hooper who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe to the Her Hoops YouTube channel for smart daily basketball videos that go deeper than the box score. We drop new episodes every week, and you won't want to miss what's next.